Uh, yeah, I'm going to be waiting for one person to show up before I start talking to myself. Although I am talking to myself right now, so that's an oxymoron, and I just lied. So I'll just start talking to myself. I'll just reiterate when someone does come in. All right, this is what I found out. Uh, South Africa officially became a member nation on December 24th, 2010, after being formally invited by China to join and subsequently accepted by other BRICS countries. The group was renamed BRICS, with S standing for South Africa, to reflect the group's expanded membership. So that was in 2010. And here's something else. Prominent researchers are backing the inclusion of the African Union (AU) in the G20, a forum in which most of the world's largest economic powers discuss and propose solutions to pressing global issues. South Africa is the only African country in this group. Oh, it gets better, folks. It gets better. Unions in South Africa claim the Rothschilds control state-owned enterprises. A large part of these demands related to the Rothschilds, a term applying to a wealthy international banking Jewish family who say they're controlling state-owned enterprises, SOEs. The National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, and the South African Cabin Crew Association, SACCA, have demanded that SAA, wow, these acronyms fucking terrible. I can't even remember what I'm thinking about now. Have demanded the SAA board members Jeffrey Rothschild, Thandeka Mugundusu, Martin Kingston, and Peter Tshilavi be dismissed, and that Jarana be reinstated. Rothschild has no ties to the Rothschild banking family. Fellow board member Kingston is an executive chair of the Rothschild Company in South Africa and was previously its chief executive. So there, hey, Brozilla, what's up, brother? I was just explaining, I just found out because I was researching some information on BRICS and why South Africa, nothing country, I mean, there's bigger countries in Africa, was added. And I just read a little article that said that China invited South Africa to join BRICS back in 2010. And South Africa is the only African country that's part of the G20. And let's see here. Yeah, let's see. When did South Africa? Where is it here? Oh, here we go. The chair position of the G20, it rotates like I think 3 different countries. But anyhow, it's irrelevant. What's relevant is South Africa is going to be one of those 3 leader groups of the G20 in 2025. I found that very, very interesting. And here's my conspiracy for everybody. It's this. The Rothschilds do control South Africa. South Africa is part of the G20. G20 is a very powerful group that South Africa is going to be in control of, a major part of, in year after next. South Africa was included into BRICS because, let me go back to finish up this article on why South Africa was added. Even though, okay, this is why South Africa was added to BRICS. Even though it is much smaller production and economy compared to Nigeria, and other factors worked in its favor. Its vast natural sources such as gold, diamonds, and platinum, its excellent infrastructure and established corporate footprint, a culture of innovation, easy access to finance for business. So, having heard all of that, Rhodesia is now, I think, Botswana, I believe. It changed names, and yes, the Rothschilds do own that. Because when I was inventing my mobile apiary or mobile beehive, which I have in the garage in the back. Between 2014 and 2020, I was doing that. Actually, no, excuse me. That's a lie. Between 2007 and 2014 is when I did my bee research and came up with the mobile elephant fencing system. The Rothschilds in Botswana, the same time I was supposed to introduce my mobile elephant fencing system, they introduced a mobile safari system in Botswana. So because I was supposed to go down to Zambia, I was like, let me check this stuff out. But I'm pretty sure Rhodesia is now Botswana and owned, not on paper, but you can't turn around without seeing the Rothschild's name in that country. And then to hear that South Africa is being accused by the people of South Africa of being run by the Rothschilds. South Africa is the only country in the continent of Africa in the G20 and will have controlling leadership role in 2025. Tells me that what the BRICS, I mean, because China invited them to join BRICS in 2010. We know China has a long game. So it only makes sense that the only reason South Africa is there is to continue the control that they've had over the West, over the East, or BRICS nations. So it's basically, it seems like World War I all over again. So it seems like it's going to be a family feud. But that's just my perspective with the limited amount of research I just did. This is why I don't like delving into certain research. I can check that out, but I can tell you right now, De Beers has a monopoly on diamonds. Their diamonds are plentiful. There, if you buy a diamond, unfortunately, this is factual. If you buy a diamond for more than like $300, you're getting ripped the fuck off because they're plentiful. The only reason diamonds are expensive is because you named it, De Beers. I actually built the house for De Beers. It was actually a 9-story, but they owned the building. It was in San Francisco on oh shit, I forgot the name of the road. The road came down and then it like dead ended and then had stairs going down to the Castro district. So it's right above the Castro district. There's like this dead end road that's got stairs leading down it. What's his name? Oh, damn. We almost killed a rock star. He was walking this giant poodle. He came out of we were backing up an 18-wheeler. And he was coming out. It was, I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, but we almost killed a famous rock star who's dead now, by the way. But he lived right next door to this building we were building for the De Beers family. So how are you doing, Brozilla? Oh, it is very rich in resources and very rich in low IQ population. That two thumbs a home run, bro. You get a country like that, you're batting 1,000 every time you hit the plate. Yeah, Zimbabwe. See, that's and again, now you're touching on something I actually have over a decade of research related to, because Zimbabwe is just south of Zambia, and that's why I invented the mobile apiary system or mobile elephant fencing system. Was there's a river goes from Angel Falls down, and it separates Zambia from Zimbabwe, and the elephants go through that, and they're protected in Zambia, and they're not protected in Zimbabwe. They get killed in Zimbabwe. So that's why I invented the mobile fencing system or mobile apiary system, was to deploy down there to keep the elephants safe. Because I'm an animal advocates, big time. I think animals don't have a voice. We're the only voice they have, and the Bible says we are the caretakers of the earth. So you don't step up, you're stepping down. In my thoughts. So that's another reason why I did the mobile apiary, but it has a lot to do with Zimbabwe. Their leaders get assassinated a lot by major powers that don't, when the leaders don't play well, I guess. I don't know why they get assassinated. Actually, I do, but I can't say on TV. But yeah, Zimbabwe is a satellite country for a world power, and they're allowed a lot of free reign because of it locally, not internationally. But here, and that's another weird thing, because Zimbabwe, I think, just came up with a gold-backed currency. What did I just say? They're a satellite country for a larger player in the game. Now they have a gold-backed currency. And I just found out today in Q3 2022, 400 tons of gold was bought by central banks around the world. So even though I'm not a proponent of gold, I say buy silver and buy platinum, because that's the poor man's metal, in my opinion. Because even platinum even has been holding strong compared to gold and silver. It's only half the price of gold. And quite frankly, people are starting to wake up, and I've seen a lot more people talking about platinum, and a lot of people are saying platinum will go higher than gold, like I've been saying. So your best play, in my uneducated, non-financial advice self, is buy platinum, not gold, because you can get 2 ounces basically for 1 gold. You can get 2 platinum, and platinum most likely will be more expensive than gold within the next 12 to 18 months. And you could take, basically you'll get gold for half price if you play the platinum gold ratio that's going to be coming. And it's even better if you play the platinum silver ratio, which people do not talk about, because I guess it's not a thing. But, well, I'm making it a thing, and you can make a lot of silver with your platinum to silver play. Hi, John. How's it going? Yeah, we're just talking about a connection I made when I was looking at South Africa and why they were part of BRICS. And I'll reiterate, even though Mr. Brozilla probably is going to get bored about this. Basically, in 2010, China invited South Africa to be part of BRICS, because it was only BRIC back then. Now it's BRICS. So it's been obviously going on for well over about 15 years. And then South Africa somehow joined the G20 nations. And in 2025, South Africa's representative to the G20 nations is going to be one of the 3 top dogs of the G20, which is going to give South Africa some serious power with the G20, because Russia, China, India, and Brazil are also part of that, and a lot of other countries that want to join BRICS. So I see a play coming in 2025 just from that. But the reason why China invited South Africa, instead of a larger country with a larger population and a larger economy, to join BRICS, was because of their amount of natural resources. The natural resources they listed was diamonds, gold, and platinum. Platinum is helped big time China inviting South Africa to join BRICS, because they're part of the longer play, China's longer play to destroy the American economy. And that leads me back to platinum is a monetary metal to BRICS, because Russia is in BRICS, and Russia physically used platinum coins as currency between 1825 or 18. Oh wow, mind blown. It's 1820ish to 1845. They actually minted coins to be circulated as cash, and they were platinum. So the BRICS nations' thought process is platinum is money. The American thought process is platinum is not money. So they control platinum. We don't see it as money. I do, but most people don't. I debate people all the time. So if our economic enemy sees platinum as money, and China invited South Africa into BRICS, not a bigger nation with bigger population, bigger economy, but South Africa specifically because of its diamonds, gold, and platinum. And the relationship between Botswana, Rothschild's controlled country, and South Africa, where I also just read a report that several unions in South Africa have been accusing Rothschilds of controlling key industries in South Africa and manipulating them. So, again, just throwing information out there that I got from research. I see a couple pathways showing up. I don't know, I'm not saying I know which one's going to happen or whatnot. I'm like, okay, logically, Sherlock Holmes deductive theory and reasoning. You have shit laid out for you that you know of at the time, so you come up with a logical conclusion through deductive reasoning. The more you learn, the more you change that to refine it and, in light with whatever new information you have. But right now, it's looking like there's a great pathway for platinum to. Okay, people are saying gold's going to 10x. Well, platinum probably 20x because it's going to far surpass gold. I don't know how much. I don't know when. I believe it'll run first. I mean, if we look at the charts, the past indicators, last year platinum did a lot better than all the monetary metals. And this year so far, it's pretty much holding strong when typically, if you look at the charts, it would have fallen. But since you guys watching Johan's Dynasty, you know that someone manipulated the charts before they became charts. And they did that by power shortages, which was a planned thing. And those power shortages caused the platinum miners to lower production, which meant the lower price of the volatility swings of platinum won't be met because the supply is lessered than any other time. And as a matter of fact, the exact opposite will happen. The price will soar higher because of the lack of supply due to power issues in South Africa. Let me read John's statement. Sorry, I don't like looking away from you guys, even though I'm only seeing myself. William PMCD. Hello, my friend. We were talking about South Africa and the reason why they were invited by China, in my opinion, to join BRICS back in 2010, and how South Africa is the only country in Africa, on the continent of Africa, that is a G20 member, and in 2025 is going to have a leadership role in the G20, for which then all of the BRICS nations and several other nations that want to join BRICS are members of the G20. So a paradoxical shift of some sort will definitely happen by 2025. Okay, hey, check this out, brah. I was just working with a dude who was 1 year older than me. I worked with him for about a week. Job's over with. Got laid off. No big deal. He's Hawaiian, and I was telling him about my experience in Hawaii when I went there to work and stuff. And he was talking to me. He goes, "Did you? You said the retirees were on the job. Was Jimmy one of them?" I was like, "Yeah, Jimmy was one of them." I have never met this guy. He was Hawaiian. I've only been in Hawaii for 3 weeks in my entire lifetime, and that was in December of 2019. And I made a connection with an iron worker who was retired and came out of retirement to work because they had no employees out there. That's why they called it best mainlanders out there. And I just worked with a dude that knows him and worked with him 20, 25 years ago. Just the 6 degrees of life. It's humorous. And by the way, I grow silver. It's legal in California. I try to limit my growth to what I'll smoke throughout the year to where I don't have to purchase any or be involved in any kind of economy whatsoever. I'm only growing for myself, and I try to grow. I'm not throwing out 500 plants or any bullshit like that. It's 3, 4, just enough to basically get me through the year. But extra, I do, dump. I pay taxes on it, but I do dump it. And I get money, and I buy silver, and it's basically it's like growing corn or something, just better retail sales. I'm doing again. I've been doing this for years. I came up with my own seed mix that's good for me when I'm working. And I only grow that, so that way I'm also not buying anything. And I'm a cheap ass, really. Uh, but I am going to buy some clones here in June because I want more variety throughout the year instead of just one type of stuff. Which is last year I grew 4 plants, all the same type, and I'm kind of sick of it already. And I have to wait till like freaking November before I get any new shit. But yeah. So talk about Han Dynasty, William PMCD. Well, on this description, I did say I wasn't going to talk about space mining, and I did actually try and look up some information I found a couple of years ago to get dates for when this happened, and I couldn't find it, so I need to do a deeper dive on that. But NASA and SpaceX NASA signed a contract with SpaceX to launch a satellite to go check out this rock that's flying around the Kuiper Belt. And world laws and world leaders came together and signed treaties and laws to determine how you have ownership of stuff in space. And we all know what leveraging is, and we all know what banks are. So my theory is one of many that I actually see a pathway for is we land on a very expensive asteroid in the Kuiper Belt, claim it, leverage it, use that money to actually make the technology and build the stuff needed to go mine it. And that just sounds like a human thing to do, especially if you don't have the resources on the planet, because it's going to be really expensive to do any kind of space travel, and we don't have the resources on the planet. I mean, we're going to run out of silver on this planet, I think, in like 2150 thereabouts. So we're going to have to go off world or under. I don't know if that statistic included mining in the sea, which actually will destroy the world anyhow with its destructive nature. It'll extinct species and affect our food supply even worse than we're doing or having done to us right now. So I don't know if that'll be a thing. I don't know, but I could see us using the fact that every country in the world signed on to this agreement of space, how do you own stuff in space, and if America and SpaceX and land some stuff, dude, don't see as an hour worker, you're thinking, yeah, you don't know nothing about this, that, the other, and in your career you'll never approach anything that has anything to do with that. But I was working with this company. It was an ironworking company that was working on domes so they could be built on the moon. I got paid to build these structures, and the owner was. We were throwing away things that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars because they didn't pass inspection or the architect changed or something like that. Connection pieces, and they were trying all kinds of crap, and they were paying us to build it here in the Bay Area, California. So we've already been paid. I've been paid to build whatever type of structure they're not going to be using on the moon. So people who have lots of money are already, and this was like 15 years ago. So they are seriously looking at, and that is a long-term investment, obviously, because we don't have the resources. So you need to leverage to have the money to be able to do it. But a decade and a half ago, this rich guy, he threw hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to do prototype building techniques that'll be duplicated on the moon. That's a fact. I got paychecks to prove it. So something's going to happen. And that's my unique insight to space mining and asteroid mining and living on the moon. People, when you don't get billions of dollars for being a dumbass, and you don't spend hundreds of millions of dollars being a billionaire if you don't plan on making that money back. Longer term investments are made when you're wealthy, because you can't take $100 million and double it every day like you can a $5 bill. It gets harder to do that, and it takes longer. So whatever this gentleman's investment he made and hundreds of millions of dollars for this will pay off eventually for him. Mr. Brazil, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, our spaceships travel faster than the speed of sound. And this was years ago. I actually saw a video that was made of the audio of actual Voyager when it intercepted the World War II Nazi Hitler speech. And this was back in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't remember. I truly don't remember what, but that it was a significant event, and I was like, wow, that's badass. And it changed my whole concept of time, space, reality, and how things work. And then I also got kind of fearful when, and the gentleman's dead. He's like a Neil deGrasse Tyson type person, astrophysicist and stuff. The one who came up with the gold disc to put on Voyager that had like all this information on it. Well, it's already surpassed any radio and TV signals. It's just aliens are going to be freaked out when they get that shit, and they're probably going to think we're some crazy motherfuckers because we didn't know anything about anything when we started space shit, and it's just crazy. uh, well, I'm telling you guys, one way we were just talking about silver running out in 2150 ish. There's this company, and there tons of silver to be had from the ocean floor without mining. And it will become a reality because anytime there's a shortness, just like I said, these two phones here, they got silver in them. They ain't worth crap right now. But in 40 years, the silver that's in these, if I save these, it'll probably be $1,000 a gram. Because like I said, by 2150 ish, we're going to run out of silver. So recycling here shortly is going to, and I've actually already seen there are companies that are looking into the feasibility by using space technology to discover mass deposits of silver in city limits of large metropolitan cities in the shit plants. The only problem of recovering it is the one that's the biggest one they went to, or the one that they did the study on that I saw a documentary on the study, was Los Angeles crap plant. There's a ton of silver down there because all the waste, everyone's like, every human being has like 0.03 grams of gold in them, in your essence, in your person. When it dies, it gets like, goes back to, ashes to ashes, this. In 40 years, I'll have celebrated my 70th, 25th birthday. I like making people think. 95. In 40 years. But medical technology is coming along. My grandfather lived till 99, and my grandmother, for which I've taken after, you take after your mother and their family, their mother's family. But anyhow, she lived till 92. So there's a very, 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 with medical technology, even though I smoke, there's a very good chance I bar anyone's political process from murdering me, that I might could live that long. Of course, they don't like people living that long, as seen in New York City. Thank you, Mr. Cuomo, for sticking the beer virus, forcing mandates to stick beer virus patients in old folks' home that weren't ready to receive that type of stuff. And then you have a lot of dead old people. Ain't that murder? But hey, who am I? I'm just a 10th grade dropout, brother. Logan's Run. I remember the one thing when you say that was this series was the one time where they ran across the old guy with their beard, and he had hundreds of cats, and it tripped out Logan on Logan's Run, if that's what you're talking about, Logan's Run. But anyhow, yeah, so I was doing the research on South Africa because it very, very interested me. I wanted to know if platinum was the reason why they're part of BRICS. And the answer I got is yes. So now that I got that answer, the question is, since Russia's already used it as money, since we're in economic war with them, since they control 85, 90% of the supply, 85 to 90% of the supply. Russia supplies about 5%, and America and a couple other countries supply the remaining 5%. When are they going to monetize it, change the price, and revalue it to make their monetary system so much more sound than ours that they win the economic war? Buy some silver and some platinum, people. Okay, 70% platinum from South Africa. No, it's bigger than that. And I actually can get you right now. I have it saved because I like this kind of information. Where is it at? There we go. Boom. Let me get you. I can get you all kinds of good stuff here. Top 5 platinum mining companies' annual production. Anglo American Platinum, 2.5 million ounces, South Africa. Impala Platinum, 1.31 million ounces, South Africa. Sibanye Stillwater, 1.8 million ounces, South Africa. Oh, and Impala also has some stuff in Zimbabwe. They're the only ones outside of South Africa, but also Zimbabwe has the third largest PGMs, platinum group metals, untapped veins. Well, Impala's hitting those now. They're tapping them. And then there's Northam Platinum that produces 900,000 ounces. And here's the Russian company. Those top 4 in the world are all South African. The 5th largest is a Russian company called Norilsk Nickel. And the reason why it's called Norilsk Nickel is because they're a nickel mining company that just happened to run by a platinum group's metal vein. So because of the worth of it, they followed that vein, but they also followed the nickel. So they're not primary platinum company, and they still are the 5th largest platinum producer on the planet. And that is that's the rundown. Who controls South Africa, Russia. That's 95% of the platinum in the world. Those five companies, because there's only like 170 tons of platinum annually compared to the 33,000 tons of gold. That's why I say the gold to silver price ratio out of the ground is like 7-1, so the price would be 7-1. Well, the gold to freaking platinum ratio is 30-1, so platinum should be 30 times the price of gold. It is a top palladium, and as a matter of fact, that nickel mining company, when they ran across that palladium, that platinum group's metal vein, it is mostly palladium and less platinum. So the main thing coming out of there is palladium. They do get a little rhodium, and some platinum is like 700,000 ounces of platinum. So yeah, it's quite possible. I haven't researched Russia too much, but I do know because of that platinum vein that they discovered, platinum group's metal vein, they do have, I do recall reading when I read up on them, that they have a very, very robust palladium market, and can tap some more platinum group's metals, but we can't trust any information out of Russia, because when's the last time we've had some accurate information about what's in Siberia, other than their death camps for political people from the SSS or CCCP? We don't know too much other than spy satellites. So my information is as good as information I can research, and I can't research that too much, other than other articles like when I researched their nickel mining project, Nikola. They are the 5th largest platinum producer, but they produce more palladium than they do platinum. Gulag comps, yes, in Siberia. That's the ones I'm talking about, and that's probably why we don't have a lot of information about any of the minerals that are up there. But I am sure they got a shoot ton of minerals and resources in Siberia. Just because, okay, here's an example. The Sahara Desert, they say now 5,000, and the Sphinx proves this. The Sahara Desert used to be a tropical rainforest. That's why if you look at pictures, and this is how you can age the pyramids to the Sphinx, because the bottom part of the Sphinx is eroded. You only get erosion from water. So that means the bottom part of that Sphinx was in water for several thousands of years, or was getting rained on, and only the top part was being refinished. None of the pyramids have any erosion damage whatsoever, nor does the bedrock that they sit on. So the age of those two are different. But anyhow, it's about 5,000, 4,500 years ago It was a tropical rainforest, and there were cities. They're actually finding castles and all kinds of shit up underneath the sand. So, if a desert can be a tropical rainforest, could not a Siberian tundra be a Hawaiian beach 10,000 years ago? Everything changes. Information is the key. You keep gaining information and knowledge, you become more wealthy in knowledge, and knowledge is power, so you become more powerful. Oh, by the way, hello, Mickey. I didn't say hello to you, did I? No, an interesting topic there, Mickey. The James Webb Space Telescope. I heard a theory that the reason why we're seeing a galaxy that's only 330 million years away from the Big Bang is because apparently there is a theory out there, and all theories from scientists from these written papers are peer reviewed, all this other stuff. But one of the theories is that we are in a multiverse, and our whole expanded universe that we see is actually a cell. That is an ongoing working theory by scientists, not Neil. It's not my wacky conspiracy theory. It's an actual scientific theory that the James Webb Telescope is, because they've already proven the Big Bang is wrong. No one's reporting that one, huh? Well, we've already seen John now. They've already done that. As I spoke with Mr. Brozilla, he said I blew his mind when I told him that Voyager had intercepted radio and television signals from World War II, and the broadcast it received was Hitler's message on TV back then. And this satellite was launched 50, 60 years after that, or 50 years after that, or 40, 50 years, or something like that. So the space-time thing that you're talking about there has already happened in a smaller, more relevant to humanity in our technological realms experience. It's already happened. Now imagine if you were to go faster. See, now you're looking at the James Webb Telescope, because that's what it's doing. It's looking into the past, because the time it takes for a light wave from a bang and a universe 10 times our size, 330 million years from that Big Bang, the first image we're going to get, because we're so far away from it, and light travels at a certain speed, is we're only going to see the formation of that galaxy that we see was produced 330 million years after the supposed Big Bang, is now 13.5 billion years older than the Earth. So who knows what technology and whatever life lives on that planet. I mean, we're looking backwards into time, but we can't look forward. No, because if Sand did that, we do know that the pyramids have been around for about 2,500 years. Why hasn't it happened to them? And also, it's water erosion. You can actually see. Get a picture of it. Take a look at it. Determine for yourself what you think it is, and do the research. My joy is when people research and find out new stuff, and you learn new things. Then you come back and say, hey, Neil, check this out. I learned this, and you said this. Then we can have a good debate. We can throw out the scientists' names and the research papers, and we can both learn. All of us and everyone else here learn. That. I want a smart group of people around me. Both William and Brozilla, you bring up good points. You go back to the Archithelium device. It was the first analog computer during the Greek times before Rome. So we're talking 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 years ago. They came up with an analog computer, and they found it off of Antikythera, an island in Greece. Some sponge divers did, and they been X-raying and all this stuff. So they've been trying to figure out what it is, and smart people, not like me or you, smart, but real smart people. And they couldn't figure out what it was. They couldn't put it together with all these gears and stuff. They x-rayed it, they see. And then some dumbass said, hey, didn't they think the Earth was the center of the universe back then? And the intelligent people were like, well, yeah, let's try that. And then they did math improperly and wrong that shows the Earth as the center of the universe and all the mathematical equations that come from that and gravity, rather than whatever they're using, sun as the center of our universe. And the Archimedes device worked, proving that no matter how good a computer you make, wrong is wrong, and you can make a computer to say the wrong thing. So don't trust a computer these days, because the first one ever created in history that worked beautifully, and the guy was exalted for making it. I'm sure he was a rich person because of it. And he was wrong, misleading everybody, throwing back history thousands of years because he was wrong. But he made a device that proved he was right at being wrong. So I can just imagine how that screwed up their society. Obviously, it screws up pretty good because we're digging up bones. They don't exist no more. Nerd. Let's see, John. I study when we see stars explode. You need to check out. It's called Betelgeuse. It's a star that now. Time for us and time for stars are different. In a short period of time, it's going to go supernova, and it is the closest star that's going to go supernova near us. But it's like hundreds of millions of light years away. So it's just a little bitty dot, and we're going to see a kick-ass explosion. And here's the time thing, within the next 300,000 years, which according to stars is very short. But 300,000 years, damn, that's a long time. You see what I'm saying? But it'd be nice if in the next couple days it happens. Probably won't, because it'll actually be bright enough to where we'll have a second sun in the sky when Betelgeuse goes supernova. And so that's actually kind of cool on an astronomical level. I'm a nerd too, what can I say? An iron worker who likes science, nerdy shit, and fucking classical music, along with other. I'll play Metallica right after it. Yeah, I didn't like Howard Stern too much. He seemed, I don't know. It's a play. Anytime you have someone have to back you up, like he had that lady that would like feed off of him feeding. It's a business and a marketing thing to make someone more than what they are when you have someone to back them up and encourage, and it's a psychological thing. And I don't really, when I see people doing that, I'm like, okay, red flag one about what the fuck he's talking about, or the not what he's talking about, but the intent of what he's trying to sell you about what he's talking about. Howard Stern introduced a Betelgeuse. No, I'm talking about a star that's like our sun. It's called Betelgeuse. It's an actual star called Betelgeuse. It's not like a drink or something, I imagine. Oh, I was about to say, I imagine Howard Stern would probably create a drink called Betelgeuse or a joint. Yes, and true, John. Well, again, because we're looking at the past by the light waves that happen, there could have been a star that went supernova 100 million years ago, and it'd be 120 million light years away from us, and we're not going to see it for another 20 million years. So, unless we, and because of the Webb telescope, we'll probably re-evaluate physics as we know it to try and answer these new questions. And when that happens, we might come up with a technology or discover or become aware of certain things to be done that will negate the time part of the travel through space. Different theories that we put out there just in sci-fi movies. If you look at Dune, there's this chemical they use that folds space. Shit, if you do that, you can really get to the other 300 billion light years away in a second. it all depends on how things actually work as we evolve our intelligence and become aware of the next level of physics, the next level of math, the next level of science that we're not aware of now. We'll discover those things, but it's not for us because that's a long ways off. Well, supposedly there's some theories out there, and I actually wanted to talk about this during the beer virus. Almost screwed up and said the name. During the beer virus, scientists and PhD students going for the PhDs have to do theses, and they have to really be creative, to garner attention. They couldn't do that during the beer virus, so a whole group of them got together and decided basically the only thing to do is launch a high altitude balloon that has a lot of scientific equipment on it and just measure the natural crap that you can measure with a unsophisticated equipment, but you still need to do your homework. You still got to do that extra credit project to go to your graduate school. So they had to do papers and stuff like this, and they discovered that and this is bizarre, no one's talked about it, but it was interesting to me, and no one's talked about it. So you got an Earth like this, right? So this high altitude balloon was going around the Earth. It went around the Arctic and discovered neutrinos or God particles coming out of the center of the planet and flying out of our planet. Now, this is a particle that comes from the Big Bang and goes this way. So if our planet, if our planet's like right here, and the neutrons are all coming this way, they even built in Antarctica a 2-kilometer cube in the ice, so it wouldn't have any distraction from anything else to capture these God particles because they're so few. But yet, when these scientists did this experiment during the beer virus around the Earth, they discovered a mass amount of them coming out of the Antarctic. And no one's talked about that. That's interesting. This was 2020. I studied Pig Latin for a while. Yeah. No, I didn't study Latin, but Pig Latin, I actually picked up on that easy as shit. It was real easy. Not like the meaning or where the word evolution came from, but actually just learning to speak it. Because I moved around as a kid a lot. My dad was in the Navy, so if you didn't pick up on shit, you kind of sort of were lonely for a couple of years. Learning the language of a country that you're in, or learning something just to keep yourself occupied because there's no one that speaks your language, stuff like that. I'm going to mention an idea I had. It involves silver, but silver's too weak of a metal for it to work, and I was going to have to mix another metal with it. I was looking at to make the world's first real business card, a business card that you do not throw away. And they have business card shaped silver that they'll sell you, but it's got the name Prometheus or something like that on it, and a net weight, and it's so thin that name comes through on the other side backwards, and that would make a terrible business card because it's just too thin. So it'd have to start out like 1.5 ounces of silver to be thick enough, and then get like a laser inscriber to do whatever name or company or the person, the phone number. But I was thinking of doing a copper lining on the outside to help stiffen it. But I'm poor and I got other ideas. But once I get some money, that's something I'm going for. But if you guys have money, go for it right now. See if it'll work. I've spoke with a few Lamborghini salesmen because I'm out here in the Bay Area, and they all thought it was a great idea. Because if I was like a salesman of a mega or $5 million houses was my norm, or $5 million yachts was my norm, which there are salespeople out there. It's just a small niche business, but they all were very interested in having a silver business card, because that would identify and specify them out from all the other people that deal with these multimillionaires. And it's not a card that you would throw away in the trash. It would be, traded to someone else, in which case your business card continuously was seen and appreciated by whoever held it in their hands, making it the ideal business card. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. The salesmen there, they're salesmen. Their job is to bullshit. So you got to take that into account. Yeah, I don't know about them black cards. But here's another thing about psychology. I think it's about psychology and economics. When Visa and MasterCard were the big credit card companies, the silver card was good, the gold card was great, but the platinum card was the best card they had. Why did a credit, the largest credit agencies, plural, on the planet, value their platinum credit card higher than a gold credit card? Little things that make you go. But anyhow, I just wanted to pass on some information to you peeps that I learned about South Africa, Botswana, the Rothschilds, G20, and BRICS, and how it all ties back to platinum. Platinum had to be there somewhere. Yeah, so why do we have the guy in charge of our house, running our house? He doesn't know how to run his house. But anyhow, yeah, I want to keep this short. It's already been close to an hour, and I do appreciate everybody who is here. But again, I just want to, as soon as I find information out, I want to pass it on to people who bother stopping by and seeing my program, because I find it very interesting, this information I found. And it just validates buying platinum. In my book, it just validates it. The whole BRICS community is based off of commodities-based reserve currency. South Africa was introduced and brought into BRICS by China specifically for its natural resources, which are going to back the BRICS nations' monetary system. So it's not going to be diamonds. All they got is gold and platinum. So that's the news about platinum about today. Economies work slow. The bigger it is, the slower it is. But that's good buying time for you and me to get some platinum. By the way, I got the platinum. I know you guys already seen it, but I'm really excited. I also got a check. Got laid off. Look at that number. Whoa, buddy. 1 week. About 250 short of 2K. Ironwork pays good if you're good enough to do it. If you're not good enough to do it, it doesn't pay good. And what you got to remember is that check. See, I just got laid off because the job's over with. It's got to last however many weeks. So if I like to work for 3 weeks and I'm off for 3 weeks, cut that check in half, basically. That's the bad part about ironwork. Actually, I just cashed one of them today, because when you get laid off, they're a week behind. So like I worked 3 weeks. I only got one paycheck last Friday. So this past Friday, I got my second paycheck plus the layoff check, and both of them are that big. And that is why I'm going to get some more platinum and take my dog to the vet. And then all that money will probably be gone, and I'll have to get another job and concentrate on paying off my patent. But I have available now $3,000 to cover any vet bill that my baby needs. And I don't know what he needs. The appointment's on the 24th. Hopefully it won't. Please say a prayer that it won't be that expensive for me. But if it is, I'm throwing all that money at keeping them alive and happy and healthy and safe and medically fit. Because I got another job coming up here in the middle of June. Money's already paid for, so it doesn't matter what happens with the economy. It's going to last 120 working days, 5 tens, which means every week I'll have a check a little bit smaller than that one, about maybe 1,700 from August all the way till September. And then, hopefully, well, I will have that paid off. Hopefully it'll be purchased by then. And if not, I'll still go down the Florida area and start my lightning crystal idea. And that's when I'm going to start my lightning strike video channel, where I'm hoping to have videos that no one has ever presented you guys with, anyone on YouTube or any other platform, because it'll be a consecutive repeat of different lightning strikes for every video, but consistent. Consistent. I've seen some videos where people get lucky and catch one. That's lucky. That's cool. I'm going to try and catch a couple a month, every month. Of course, during the rainy season, I'll have a lot more, and I'll spread those videos out to where I can produce a brand new lightning strike video, a different lightning strike every video. Yeah, and there's a lot of cool crap I'm going to try with that, because not just being able to direct lightning to a certain space, but what you do with that space and what the lightning does with what you do with that space. Dude, hey, like a kid in the candy store. I'm going to have fun with that one. I might blow some shit up. So I might like build a concrete box around this box just in case I blow shit up, because I don't want to kill anybody. But I'm gonna give it a shot. Why not? Yeah, like I said, a kid in a candy store. If I got the money to do it, I'll do it. Fuck yeah, it'll be fun. My friends that I'm going to get involved down in Alabama, Florida area, they're really excited about it too. I'll obviously see the no neighbors. That's a good thing. There's no neighbors. There's two. Well, one neighbor, but they're dicks, so who cares about them? And the other guy who lives on the 20 acres, he's living there for free, and it's my friend's land, so he's not going to bitch too much. And he's also getting part of the revenue, also, because I'm a cool dude. There's a couple people I'm just going to give a percentage of to them, along with a couple charities and stuff like that. Started Living Trust, all this other crap. But yeah, the only thing up there bordering that 20 acres is like 100,000 acres of BML land. And there's this major company bought like a couple hundred acres on their side and developed it for industrial usage, for mega warehouses, for trucks coming in, storage kind of shit. It's not like a neighbor. It's actually the first exit. If you're coming out of Florida on I-10 say it's better for you guys. Coming out of Florida. No, coming out of Florida, coming out of Florida, you first hit Alabama, the very, very first exit on I-10, you go north 1 mile, and that's the land. No, but I damn sure better. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, William. Because if there ever is a carbon tax, I'm going to use that as a tax deduction that I'm creating in clean air by my artwork. And I'm going to get a tax deduction for that if they go down that stupid road. No, northwest Florida. Actually, Escambia County, Florida, and Baldwin, Alabama. They're like side by side. That's the area. Actually, it's like in Baldwin County by 15 minutes walking, like 30 seconds drive. Because I got a good, my surrogate mom lives in Cantonment, which is about a third, half a mile away from my friend's land in Alabama, but Cantonment's in Florida. Oh, that is interesting. I actually have researched concrete, and I actually like the bio concrete. And they've got a structure they built. It's a bus stop, and the concrete goes up and actually comes down like that. A very, very bad angle for concrete when it cures. But with the addition of the bio concrete into the mix of concrete, what happens is as a crack forms and air and moisture get in there and hit the bio concrete, it turns it into lime, making the whole structure stronger. The reason why I researched that is because there's an argument to be made: steel building over concrete building. So if concrete gets any stronger, my job goes away. So I've researched that. That's where I learned about biocrete. Yeah, northwest, as far northwest of Florida as you can get is Pensacola, Florida, and that's where I grew up. That's why there's this guy over the wall. I think he's in Fairhope. He's always asking when I'm going to make it down there so we can do a little meetup. It smells like clean air. That'd be great. Drawing lightning down. I'll get national news probably from that one, and then I'll get sued and have to shut the thing down. But I'll still get national news before that happens. So I'm going to start an LLC with lots of protections because I don't want to get sued. Well, shit happens, but then maybe I can work a deal with Elon Musk and have one of his fucking SpaceX fucking barges come in, and I'll set my equipment up on his barge out in the water, so that way no one will sue me, and Elon Musk and I'll make the money. I'm sure rich people are always up for making money, especially if they already have the equipment out there and it's not being used. But I don't know. It all depends on what computer systems he has on those barges. If he has some sort of like computer IAI shit on there to keep them steady or whatnot, he'd say, keep that shit away from my barge. Understandably so, because lightning will blow the fuck out of a computer. No, I plan on being the first person in history to come up with lightning artwork, because I plan on designing in small round copper and sticking that in different colored sand as I layer it, so that lightning it'll vaporize the copper because the heat of the lightning, but it'll create fergotite in the form of that copper that I put in there, which will be the actual first in history creation of lightning crystal artwork. And I'm actually planning that right now, and you guys are the first to hear about this. I'm also going to change the color of the sands, because right now they only have one type of sand they use when they catch it, when they get lucky and find some on the Gulf of Mexico. When they stick lightning rods in the ground and they have to dig it up, and they usually break it because it's real fragile. Well, my design avoids all of that, so it opens up a lot of exploration. And see, that's the thing. People are thinking improperly, just like, no offense at all, William MPCD. It's not going to be in ground. That's the problem. So I solved that problem with my idea, and I've got to go test it. It's basically a 4 foot by 4 foot box, 3 foot above the ground with little holes in it, so sand evacuates away from it, and it doesn't displace pressure against the fragile fergotite by digging a shovel into the soil and doing that number, which breaks it all up. If the soil evacuates from all four sides around it, you get a larger piece. And $250 for 4-inch piece, exponentially getting more expensive. 8-inch piece is $4,000. So just imagine what a 3 foot piece is worth. No, it does more than that, John. It does a lot more than that. And it's actually not a lightning strike. It's the residual heat of the lightning strike. The lightning evaporates a hole into the soil because it's so hot. It'll crystallize the soil, but because it's so hot, it vaporizes it. And the heat around that lightning strike going outward changes the dynamics of the soil or the sand or whatever as it goes out. And that's why it's fragile. But the whole center is hollow because the lightning's so hot that it evaporates. It goes past the form of crystal because it's way too hot. And I love that movie, but nothing like that. But yes, that's how he does it. But the crystal that you see, that's bull crap. That's not lightning crystal. That's an artist from somewhere in southern Alabama that made that for the movie. If you research fergatite, I believe is what it's called. That is actually what they see as lightning crystal, and it does produce kick-ass formations of melted sand that the lightning traveled through. The issue is collecting it. People think two-dimensionally. Hey, Jake, what's up? Okay, I'm gonna reiterate the points I made from my boy Jake. Let me go here. Okay, I was checking on uh, why why South Africa was added to BRICS, and I found out in 2010 China invited South Africa into BRICS because of their natural resources. There's a couple countries larger economically in Africa, but they specifically chose South Africa because of the diamonds, gold, and platinum resources they have. And I also found out that because of South Africa's introduction BRICS or position in BRICS, they joined and are the only country in the continent of Africa that joined the G20. And their leadership goal in the G20 comes up in 2025, where they will join. Well, we're not join, but they will have. There's three head roles, leadership roles in the G20, and South Africa will be one of those roles in 2025. So, is this, in my personal opinion, China choosing to have South Africa join at the time BRIC to make it BRICS was very strategic for their natural resources and their future power that they'll have in the G20. Because if you have Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa, and other countries wanting to join BRICS in the G20, and South Africa has a leading role in 2025, they will have a very, very strong case for manipulation, like America did for several years. And I also discovered that several unions in South Africa are claiming that the country is run or certain. Let me see what it says. Russia was by international banks say they're controlling state-owned enterprises. So there's several unions, larger unions in South Africa that are stating that the Rothschilds control state-owned enterprises in South Africa. So if you put all of that together, uh, it just adds to the uh, world reserve currency status that BRICS nations want to have. More importantly, this information should tell you that platinum will play a role in that monetary system. Monetary system. And I say that because only Americans have never used money, platinum as money. So we're all told and we all think and we all believe that platinum is never used by money because we never lived in Russia. We never saw Russia. We never researched Russia. Russia has used platinum as money. They are part of the BRICS nations. They want to start the reserve currency that they had China have South Africa join because of their natural resources. They're not going to use diamonds as a commodity because there's too many other countries that produce diamonds that are being manipulated down right now. Diamonds are like not rare at all. But platinum is the one thing that South Africa brings to the plate. That and that they're run by the Rothschilds and they've got a spot in the G20. There's a something to think of. Platinum is going to be twice the price of gold. Research yourself. No, it's not real, Mickey. When yeah, naivety. I thought the exact same thing. Then I started doing research, and then I got pissed off that it wasn't a real thing. I said, well, how can I create it? And that's how this whole thing actually started with me. Was because of that movie, Sweet Home Alabama. I told you I get information way beyond what people talk about when I listen to them. I'm weird, but no, it's not real. But you can make well. No one's ever made, but I'm pretty sure you can make uh, fergatite or lightning artwork if you're challenge yourself to do so. Yes, fulgurite. Thank you very much. Again, it's been a while since I've actually studied that because I got so many other things going. It's basically on the back burner. I'm not going to be down there in September. I was going to refresh my information a couple weeks before I go. But yeah, fulgur, fulgurite, not fergitite. My bad. Thank you for correcting me, William. And you can see as you've done, and I thank you for researching. You'll find also the same thing I did. The heat of the lightning evaporates the crystal part of the crystallization formation because the heat is just too intense, and the residual heat off to the sides is what creates the fulgurite, and it becomes more fragile on the outside because, of course, the heat only goes out so far to do the chemical process to change it into a glassy-ish type of fulgurite. I'm glad you did the research there real quick and looked that up. Thank you very much. Uh, I would consider when I'm going to change different types of sand used, that different types of silica would be able to do that, William. I have, again, no one's ever done it, so there's no there is, I'm sure, research on different sands. It's just I don't have the knowledge of where to look for that research, and I'm specifically looking for the lightning crystal stuff. So I'm not finding any information on different silicas and what'll happen at different heat levels and stuff. Because I do plan on layering different types of silicas, and I also plan on using uh, ceramic powder, because ceramic powder takes 400 to 600 degrees. It changes color and hardens. So, you know, a couple layers of different types of colored powder. That's where the artwork part of the lightning crystal artwork comes from. And I'm going to try stuff like, and this is where I need to build a bomb shelter for it, is I want to stick ball bearings in there and let lightning strike that son of a gun and then let the ball bearings out and see what form I have left, because that'll be the ultimate artwork of what lightning does in the ground, because it'll truly melt each piece together in whatever form or whatever way it goes before it finishes traveling through that box. Yeah, as I get the financing from these ideas, they will become more intricate and more costly, I'm sure. Well, the only thing is, and this is the great thing about it, Jake, is the number one area in the nation for lightning strikes is Escambia County and Santa Rosa, Alabama, off the Gulf of Mexico. Northwest Florida, Southeast Alabama has the largest amount of lightning strikes in the nation. So that's actually the best spot to try this idea. And luckily, a friend of mine owns 20 acres on the first or the highest hill north of I-10 just inside the Alabama Florida border. Uh, it's like I think it's 90-foot elevation or 120-foot elevation, and right off the Gulf of Mexico by like 2.5 miles. So I'm sure it's one of the areas of the nation that gets the absolute largest amount of lightning strikes, making my idea of the YouTube channel and the lightning crystal artwork thing even more feasible. So there's a lot of factors that come into play. It could be done in other areas, but it would be a lot longer a process because of the amount of strikes that you possibly could get. So it's God handed me this one. I know the guy who owns Top of the Hill. It's like it's fucking perfect, bro. Largest lightning strikes in the nation, and I know the guy who's got the land on the top of the first hill off the Gulf Coast, off of the Gulf of Mexico. It's a setup for success. But that's neither here nor there because it hasn't happened yet. I will be doing a YouTube live stream, trust me, when I do my first one. And you will see behind me the first fulgurite piece that I create. And I'll probably do, well, I will. I'll have a friend of mine who's down there. He's actually real big in the internet. He knows all that kind of stuff. I'll have him do editing and stuff for me. Wow, I just got like 6 minutes. Oh, this coin shop, Chris. Hey, what's up, brother? Can I call you back? I'm in the middle of live stream. You're not in my chat. What's up with that? All right, I'll call you back. Bye-bye. Chris P is fixing to join the chat. He's on Ron's basement. Yes, that's another thing I want to do, John Beathy, is even more rare than fulgurite is rock struck by lightning. And there's, I don't recall, by no means do I recall the name that it is, but it's even more rare. And it usually only happens in higher elevations, and climbers usually come across it. And that's probably why it's rare. It's that's all right, man. It's YouTube, Chris. But oh, what kind of rock is it? It's that hard rock. Wow, John, you got me thinking now. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and research that. But it's a one type of rock that if struck by lightning, and I've actually thought of getting that type of rock, sticking in the boxes, so that way when the lightning strikes them, I can stick them in a rock cutter, cut them in half, and see what design is in the rock that was crystallized by the lightning. Should be bad, could be badass, could be a total waste of time. But if I start an LLC, it doesn't matter because it'll all be a tax deduction. And I'll be having a good time while doing it. William, you and I are going to have to talk. And once I get this lightning crystal thing going and I get some sold and get some cash coming, we'll talk offline, in person, if you would. And we'll come up with a game plan for what you're talking about. But right now, I'm a poor ass white boy trying to get off the ground. Once that happens, a lot of things will be happening. But I need to get on. I need to get past the atmosphere and the pool of gravity with success before I throw too much money at it. Because and it's not going to be much for me to do this. It'll probably cost, including flying down there and back, it'll probably cost less than $3,000 for me to start this, and maybe $4,000 because I'll need a couple cameras, good cameras. But that's expensive. That's expensive for how you. I mean, I showed a paycheck at the beginning part of this, but that's nothing compared to the cost out here. Especially if you're not guaranteed that kind of money every week, 52 weeks a year. You can really fall behind making that kind of money. No, I like it. Dude, William, like I said, brother, we need to talk because I'm in the same mindset. What is possible is unfathomable. It's never been done. What is possible? Let's try it. Let's try it. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm down. That's what I want to do. You know, I want to try new shit. That's why I want to try a little copper cable and stick it in there and do actual artwork, you know, along with different colors. That's a couple of my ideas. You've taken it to another level, brother. But then again, like I said, economically, what I'm talking about, I mean, I can get copper wire for like, well, basically free. Sand, I'm gonna have to pay for. The and I'm not going to use the ceramic coloring on the first couple because it's got a price tag on it. You know, another thing to try is I've got these Kick Booty. I got them right here somewhere. Ah, here they are. Oh, other pocket. Yeah. Here we go. See, I got these copper coins. They're not coins, they're bars, actually. These little copper bars here. Copper bar, this 1 ounce copper bar. I'm thinking of throwing a couple of these in there because if the lightning, and it's all experimental. That's why, William, it sounds like it's straight up your alley as well. Again, nothing to roll off of other than we've got to try it. This copper, it should evaporate from the heat of lightning. So either in its place, more likely all around it, should be a flat piece of ferrotite. I throw a couple of these in there, boom, 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 because another thing I got to think of is, and the reason why I want this above ground is because the shit's fragile and it breaks. I'm still working on, after I start evacuating sand out of the box, how to support the structure so it doesn't break. So I'm not complete on my idea yet. So there's definitely room for help. Ideas is help, because wool yarn that you use for weaving or crocheting, maybe some of that, but then it might break the shit because it's sticky. I don't know. It's all gonna be trial and error. Even on the first one, if I break it, still it's $250 for a 4-inch piece. So I'll have 4 foot of 4-inch pieces. Yeah. Like what's that, 16 pieces to sell? That's I don't want to do math. Jake, in that case, if you want to have some fun, build yourself a 4x4 box, stick a lightning rod underneath it, elevate it up in the air about 3 foot by putting wood poles, and elevate it. Drill some holes in your box, fill it with sand, stick a lightning rod on top of it, and give it a shot, brother. Let's make it a competition. Everybody should do it. Let's all get into lightning crystal artwork. Something to try. Something to try, William. Again, later on down the line, everything's going to be experimental. The only things that I will replicate is the things that sell. Obviously, I'm not doing this just for pleasure. It's going to be pleasurable. It's going to be fun as hell, but it's all about money. I just want to retire into making money, instead of working for a living. And that's working to live, shall I say. I just want to live. So I got to get something going that's fun so I can live. The jar would rupture. That's why I say, and when you do the box 4x4, the reason why I say 4x4, you need the inwardly pressure. Again, do research. There's nothing out there for me to research. This is just my thoughts on how it works from a little research I have done. Lightning comes down. I've seen them explode 2-foot trees because it jumps out of the tree to the ground, and it'll explode a 2-foot, a 24-inch by 24-inch piece of wood will explode. So you got to double that at least double that to 48 inches or a 4x4x4 cube, and then put the lightning rods directly in the center of that cube on top and bottom. So hopefully the lightning will travel just with very little variation sideways, straight down. So you still have the pressure of about 2 foot of sand on each side of that lightning rod, maybe only a foot of sand each side of that lightning rod or lightning bolt as it goes through the sand. I think of safety when I try this stuff because I don't want to die doing it. So I am trying it safely. Oh, you could put the Leyden jar inside more sand and hope that it doesn't, I don't know. It's never been done. Everything will be tried. But yeah, try it out yourself, guys. You need at least 1/2-inch plywood, and then when you cut the plywood and put it together, have some 2x4s wrapped on the outside to help contain it, because sand is rather heavy, and have some maybe 2x12s underneath it to set on your table or whatever you make, to have the lightning rod underneath and above it. Drill some holes in the bottom, cover those holes up to where you can like if you use 3/4-inch plywood and you make the holes in there, use a 1/2-inch piece of plywood strip to cover those holes, so you can use like a 1-inch screw and it won't go all the way through, but it'll still hold wood, so you can pull it out and it won't be crystallized and stuck. And the sand should drain out from those holes if you have those holes all the way around. Again, I just explained the process on lightning. I'm counting on lightning going to the light, because if you have a lightning rod in the ground and you have the box elevated, and the box is a 4 foot by 4 foot, and you have the box elevated by 3 foot, your second lightning rod It's going to start at 7 foot. And if you have like 8 foot lightning rod, you have 15 foot off the ground. And I'm going to be on the highest hill, the highest hill off of the Gulf of Mexico that in the nation gets lightning strikes. So that puts it at 15-foot elevation. And I'm going to have 2 or 3 of these things so that there's a stronger draw. Because, and the reason why I think I'm going to be successful is because if you understand lightning doesn't come from the sky. It does, but it doesn't. It's initiated from the ground. There is a ground that comes up of energy that hooks up, negative energy that hooks up with the positive energy of the clouds, because the clouds are moving, and then those meet up, and that's where you see our visual spectrum, what lightning is. On the non-visual spectrum of what lightning is, lightning comes up from the ground. That's why I say stick the lightning rod in the ground, have the box in the middle, and the lightning rod on top, so the ground energy can still go up. And that's why my belief is if I have 3 of those up there, I'll have a higher chance of catching lightning, because I've got 3 receptors coming from the ground going up, allowing the negative energy to go up. So when the lightning storm comes over, the positive energy will just connect to them. It's like a battery, I guess. I mean, that for an analogy, that's what I'll give. All I know is I've watched a documentary on lightning, and there is obviously a lot more to our planet than what we see from our visual spectrum. And there's a lot to be learned once you see these pictures from spectrums that our eyes don't pick up. And then you can come up with scientific analysis and conclusions and try stuff. And I've tried to think of everything. I'm not the smartest person in the world, so I'm sure I forgot some shit. But I've been studying about this, even though there's nothing out there to study on. I've been studying what I feel is pertinent for this for a couple of years. I just turned 55. I qualified from early retirement, so now it's time to do it. I told my buddy Steve about it, who owns land. He's like all kinds of excited. He, like you, William, says, "Oh, we could try this. We could try this." I'm like, that's what I want, man. I want to stimulate people's excitement about making money off of the world first. Man, you know how many people you can meet? Maybe some world leader will want a piece of the artwork that's created, because no one else in the world is going to have it. Everyone thinks like Mickey, Sweet Home Alabama. Oh, there's a glass. And so what's out there isn't that exciting. The fulgurite is not that exciting. What I'm going to do with it should make it exciting. And that draws market cap. That means money. World leaders are creative and innovators. We want America to be a world leader. We've got to be creative and innovative and successful at it. So I'm just doing my part. And that's why I encourage everybody to do their part and try it yourself. I am not man, if one of you's got $1 million and you're sitting here and you can do it tomorrow, do it. Do it. I'll be your competition, even though it's my idea. I don't care. I'm going to do my thing, and I want everybody to succeed. I'm not selfish by no means. The only platinum, I had to sell my platinum, and that's why I'm so excited. This is the only platinum I have, even though for over 1.5 years, 2 years, I've been saying buy silver, platinum. I had to sell my platinum because I came up with a scenario where it wasn't working. I needed money. And that's what it's for. It's my bank account. It's my personal bank account. I was my own bank. I borrowed from myself. Now I'm paying myself back, getting platinum back. It's the way it's supposed to be, right? But anyhow, I digress. But yeah, William, I would very much love for you to come down there after I get it going, and I got some capital going. We can pay to have you stay at a hotel nearby and bring some great ideas with you. And, you can see the operations, see what we got. And, we might not be able to do much on the first go around because we might not have all the stuff that it takes or whatever. But, we can get it going, bro. They're not only colorblind, they see spectrums of light that we don't see. That's why every now and then you'll see a supposedly, every now and then when cats just hiss at midair or something, there's some sort of a thing there that they can see that we don't see. Throughout history, that's been applied to different meanings, and therefore cats have been revered in different cultures in spectacular ways. To as far as even the Egyptians mummifying only cats because of their supposed importance to do whatever. I mean, for example, the movie, there's a trilogy, the Mummy, that explains the Egyptians' viewpoint on the cats in the afterlife. They chase away bad spirits. Well, how do they see these bad spirits? They can see things we can't. But you wish you had a bunch of cats around you like I do. I got one right here. Ah, she's on my ass. That one right there, and my butt was sitting right here because she stole half the seat because she has to be close to Daddy. She says, I got to sleep near you, Daddy. I can't sleep in the bed. I'll sleep right on your back and push you off your own damn chair as you're doing a live stream because I don't care. No, I love cats. I love cats so much. I used to play with big cats. These babies, Nadia and Anna. My God, man. I have never seen a cat at 6 months so freaking big. These things at 6 months, man, their paws were bigger than easily the size of my hand. Easily the size of my hand. And they stood, man, 2.5 foot tall, three and a half, 4 foot long, 6 months old. And then when I left the Mobile Zoo, they got this person gave them their cat because it got too expensive. It was a little 4-month-old. It wasn't a Siberian. It was the other kind. There's Siberian and another kind. This was the other kind. His name was Sultar. He was 3.5 months old. Little guy. Me being the asshole that I am. He had his favorite ball. It was a big ball, right? And Fran told me not to mess with him, and she went in to do something back at the house or whatever. So I go inside this little cat's cage. He was pretty big, actually. He was probably 2 foot long by about a foot and a half tall. His paws were about that big, and his canines were easily that big at 3 months, maybe 4 months. And I started messing with him because I wanted to get him to meow. I got him to meow. It was Sultar, a Bengal. He's a Bengal tiger. That was it. There is a Russian breed of cat out there that's pretty damn big and furry too. They're specifically made to survive the freezing ass winters. I actually have I'm subscribed to the guy's channel, and those cats are pretty damn big. And I don't know if that's the cat you're talking about though, but there is a Russian cat out there that's large, very, very large. Probably has 3 or 4 coats of hair. It's so thick. It's probably a small cat with a lot of coats. Shave it down like that Egyptian cat. It's probably about that big. But anyhow, where'd Jake go? Here's Gandalf. Come here, Gandalf. You want on TV? Get away from me. He says, get away from me, Daddy. Get away from me. I'm going to grab your phone. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to get some dinner, spend some of my cassiola I just got here. Again, I wanted to bring you the information on South Africa, the G20, BRICS, and why South Africa? I've been asking that question a while. Well, I believe I found the answer. And I kind of already knew it, but it validates. They wanted South Africa because they knew back in 2010 that they were in a commodities-based money system, and they wanted platinum because if we're in an economic war, the best way to win that war is to monetize platinum, and it's not an unfamiliar thing to the BRICS nations. Russia has done it before. It is very unfamiliar to the Western nations, especially if Rick Rule and Bill Holt are out there saying, oh, it's not money. And that gets the Americans thinking it's not money and not buying it. So when it gets to be the price of gold and higher, they can blame those gentlemen who know what they're talking about, supposedly. Anyhow, you guys have I hope that I am doing a good public service, but I can do a better public service if I got this cat off my lap. Get off of my lap. She decided to move to the front. If you guys share this, you don't have to like or subscribe or any of that crap. Just share it so other people get this information because, I mean, basically it boils down there. If several unions in South Africa are right, which by God, I don't see where they would be wrong. But it's tens of thousands of people who all have an opinion, and it all seems to be the same, think that the Rothschilds have control of key select segments of their government. And then, I mean, the dominoes just add up that they're in BRICS for platinum. They bring platinum to the table. Russia's used platinum as a money source. They have a small amount of platinum in their mines. Why would they not want to kick our ass in an economic war and monetize platinum as they have done in the past? Our Western way of thinking, we have not, so therefore it's not possible. Don't be fooled, people. Don't look at things from just our point of view. Look at the world, because other people have different points of view. And if they have control, their point of view matters more than yours. Just saying. You guys take care. Yes. Actually, I think like 70% of the U.S. is like, if you cut the country in half, the East Coast has like 70% of the population. The West Coast side of it only has 30% of the population. But anyhow, I have got to get some dinner in me, because you see how fit I am. You don't want me to blow away in the next windstorm. I got to put some weight on. So you guys be safe. God bless America and everyone here. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Spread the word about platinum. Because if this play that I'm saying is going to happen actually happens, platinum will be worth more than gold. And you will be able to, Jake Custom Car Parts, you will be able to take, if what I see coming happens, and I don't know when, but all the information I'm getting and I'm putting out in these live streams seems to indicate that it will happen. Platinum should easily be twice the price of gold, if not higher. So, if you find yourself in a financial strain or something, 1 ounce of platinum could save your ass. Oh, John, dude, I got cases of tuna for the cats. I go steak or lobster because I'm the king of Hansville. I am the emperor of Niels Han Dynasty. But you could really this time. And I've been weighing saying this to people. For silver, I'll do it. When silver gets to real high price, I will sell it for profit in whatever currency form there is, or whatever currency form I choose to sell it in. And I'll buy it back when it gets cheaper. If it goes like 600, I foresee it going maybe possible higher than that. Depends on the reevaluation, but it will drop back down from whatever it was. And that's when I'll buy it, because that cycle was the same. I don't think platinum will. Because if BRICS does what they want to do and add platinum to the mix, platinum will not be a volatile metal, and it will not drop back down to its old all-time highs as a low and all this other stuff, the way charts are supposed to work. That won't happen. So I'm hesitant in saying sell it at a high to where you can buy it back lower. Silver, you most likely will be able to do that. Platinum, I don't think you'll be able to. But that's just my personal opinion. I am not a financial advisor. Do not take anything I say as financial advice. Please do your own research. Please become intelligent, more knowledgeable on money, on capital, on currency, and on geopolitical scenarios like Mexico nationalizing its lithium mines. I personally, being a non-financial advisor and knowing nothing about the stock market, would sell all of my mining stocks that are not based in American-friendly countries that are not going to join BRICS. Because if they nationalize that, you're screwed. God bless America, everyone here. I am going to take off. You guys have a beautiful weekend and stay safe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Exactly, William. And I'm trying to fix my ignorance. Mr. Brazilla, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Good evening.